Everybody knows I had a conversation. Everybody knows that I had a conversation. There's no living American in Washington that knows that. There's no one. And you know it too. So, well, you know it. You know it. So I don't even know why you asked.
Why is it?
No, you do know it. You do know it.
That was Senator John McCain abruptly responding to a New York Times reporter after he was asked if Senator John Kerry had contacted him in 2004 to be his running mate. Joining us now, Frank Luntz, to look at some of the words that worked this week and some that didn't from what was a very eventful week on the campaign trail. You know, Frank, my initial thought of has he made any mistake whatsoever at all? The same New York Times with their slimy, unsubstantiated tabloid attack and insinuations about an affair. I wouldn't even talk to the New York Times again, but I thought he responded forcefully. He didn't seem angry to me. What do you think?
Well, here's the issue. I don't know what the New York Times has decided in this campaign, and it does not make sense to me. You've got to go back to 2000. In 2000, George Bush was being attacked for the kinds of things that he may have done in college. And they tried to go after him, and they had reporters in scrums, and they would surround the candidate running for president. And at one point, they even hit him in the head with the boom mics as all these reporters were shouting at him, trying to get Bush, before he was president, to acknowledge something that he may or may not have done. And finally, the American people saw this and said, you know what? I don't even care whether he did what they claimed he did. This is not right. The New York Times is actually building a case for John McCain based on how they're treating him. Yeah. The reporters are not behaving in a way that reporters are supposed to. And you know, by the way, one other point. Newt Gingrich raised a point earlier that it's the responsibility of the media to hold these candidates accountable.
This was about an old story that, you know, and he said,
I agree with you.
I am not going to discuss a private conversation that I had with John Kerry about revealing, you know, how far the conversations went about him getting on the ticket with him. I said no. Everybody knows about it. And then the reporter got very personal in this, and we didn't air this part of it, where she says, well, why are you getting so angry? Well, first of all, I'd be angry at talking about anybody with that newspaper after the despicable, disgraceful way they treated him and his wife and his family. And the only question is, why were they even allowed on the plane?
Sean, why are you getting so, quote, angry, unquote? She wanted to work a way to get that word into the discussion so then they could write about John McCain getting so angry. He would use the word angry, and then they could put it right in the story.
By the way, Frank, I didn't think John McCain got that angry here. And I think he was justified in his response. By the same token, when they accused Clinton of getting angry and red-faced, I didn't see Clinton getting all that angry when he was defending his wife. I don't think McCain acting any differently in terms of tone than Bill Clinton, who got passionate in answering a question in New Hampshire, and they accused Clinton of being angry.
Well, Alan, you got a graph up there that I want you to put up of what happened to John McCain in Texas on Tuesday, because I think this is very important looking forward. What matters right now for John McCain is not this issue of anger. He's got a conservative vote challenge, and he's got a youth vote challenge. He got 51%. He was the presumptive nominee, and he only got half the vote in Texas, one of the most Republican states. The challenge for John McCain still exists, no matter what his campaign says. Number one, he's got to coalesce that conservative vote, and he still hasn't done it. And number two, with this turnout that is so huge among first and second-time voters, he's got to do something to reach out to the 18 to 29-year-olds. And quite frankly, this fight with the New York Times doesn't help him in that process.
If he's getting 51 and Huckabee's getting 38, why not put Huckabee on the ticket?
Because Mike Huckabee, for all his communication skills, I'm not convinced that he brings with him more than Arkansas. You need someone who can bring a state that's at least 10 delegates. You need someone that brings a state that voted blue the last time, that voted Democrat the last time. You got to be looking for someone such as the governor of Minnesota, such as the former governor of Pennsylvania and the Homeland Security chief, Tom Ridge. Even Rudy Giuliani, who may not have the ability to bring New York, but he would have the ability to bring New Jersey.
Didn't Huckabee do better nationally than Giuliani in this campaign? Were you going to say something?
No. Well, you know what? Senator McCain, you mentioned about reaching out to conservatives. Senator McCain is going to sit down with me for a full hour right here on this program next week, Frank.
And I want you to make peace with him, Sean.
No. Listen, I have some substantive disagreements. We've always gotten along, Frank. I mean, I like him, admire him. I have some areas of agreement and some disagreement.
He should talk to someone he agrees with me.
No, and actually it's interesting because I think both, and I'm going to sit and defend John McCain now, And in the next segment, Hillary Clinton, because I think she too has been treated unfairly by the media, and someone needs to stand up and defend how that has taken place.
All right, we'll get into that with Frank Luntz coming up in just a moment. More with Frank and Words at Work coming up right after the break. And by the way, the Obama campaign says Senator Hillary Clinton is one of the most secretive politicians in America today. What